This program is brought to you in part by Eureka, the spirit of adventure.
I'm Ben Stacey.
And I'm Sean Rowley. Paddling is a passion for us both, so we decided to embark on a paddling adventure.
We will have 7 days to paddle the Trent Severn Waterway from Trenton on Lake Ontario to Port Severn on Georgian Bay, and will pass through 43 locks along the 386-kilometer route. We will be supported by our film crew, who will meet us at each lock and help us vehicle portage around some of the bigger lakes.
We will also be joined by some guest paddlers, and we'll meet some friends along the way.
So join us as we get outside on a paddling adventure.
We are paddling the entire Trent Severn Waterway over the course of 7 days. We are attempting to. It will be fun, a fun challenge, that's for sure.
It's something I've never done. It's something that's pretty ambitious to try and get done, but that's what we're gonna do.
Planning the trip, we quickly realized that due to time constraints and the potential of bad weather, it would be wise to skip certain sections. Notably, some of the larger lakes, these would be just long days of paddling open water with the potential for things to go wrong.
We would stick to the canals, rivers, and smaller lakes, aiming not to miss any of the lock stations along the route.
Our goal was to paddle between 20 and 40 kilometers per day. We based this on our experience of being able to paddle 4 to 5 kilometers per hour.
We will be supported on our trip by our film crew. Paddling with us is camera operator Michael. Traveling by truck will be our production coordinators and additional camera operators John and Haley. They will be able to go ahead to each lock, advise us on weather or other troubles, and vehicle portage our canoes around the sections that we will skip.
Well, it's the night before. I'm all packed, I think. This is a bit different because I'm used to doing trips up through the wilds, through the backcountry, stuff like that. So it's going to be a bit different doing everything through, almost semi-urban areas where we're passing through towns and stuff like that. Not used to that. Definitely going to be a lot different than a normal trip, but I'm really excited to be doing the Trent Severn Waterway. It's going to be a lot of fun, I'm thinking.
There's been a lot of planning, and right now my brain is just going crazy. It's full of all the things that have to go right, but I'm sure once we get going, everything's going to be fine. It's going to be great. So I'm about to get to bed because we're going to be up super early.
I'll wait to see your golden smile. Feel of 1,000 kisses.
All the kids in the back are behaving.
Oh, please stay a while. I'll reach up to
It was just a short trip down Highway 401 to Trenton.
sunlit face. Feels like a handful of silk now. I'm in your
We would put in at the public boat launch right at the mouth of the Trent River.
We're here. We're about to start. This is amazing. We're just going to take the canoes off the truck, get them loaded up with the gear, and it's going to be so good to actually get out on the water and get things started.
So just unpacking down at Trenton here. Really looking forward to this. Nice day for a little bit of cloud cover. And it's going to be, calling it to be hot. Yeah, we'll have to unpack and get into the boats and get on that water. Really looking forward to the entire week of getting up and down the Trent Severn.
Well, we've got all our gear out. We have the canoes ready to go. We just really need to put them in the water before we load them up.
As we were loading, a friend of ours came to see us off.
Hey, so I'm Sue, this is Hayden, this is Dan, we're Sue's outdoor crew. We heard Ben was going to do this paddling up the Trent River, and we live, 10-15 minutes away, so we want to come and join him for a little bit this morning. It's kind of exciting, and I can't wait to paddle on these waters. We haven't actually done it yet, and we live here.
That excitement that everybody had first thing when we launched. Seeing the big bridge say, gateway to the Trent Severn Waterway. That was pretty cool. You know, it's sort of as that, this is gonna be a fun trip. This is where we're starting, we're going.
Doing some urban paddling. We got factory behind us over here. It's kind of cool.
Lock 1 was just about 3 kilometers from where we launched.
Coming into the first lock.
As we arrived, they began letting the water out of the lock.
We are at lock 1 right now. We're just waiting there, emptying the water. We're waiting for them to open the lock. Thank you so much for joining us.
It was fun.
Yeah. See ya again soon, hopefully. Have a good paddle back. It'll be easier downstream.
Oh yeah. The current will take us most of the way.
Yeah. See you later.
Good morning. Welcome to Trent Severn Waterway. We are ready for you to come on your starboard side and your starboard side only.
It was pretty impressive paddling under the train bridge and into Lock 1.
When you're in the lock going up, the water is rushing in. It's boiling and churning, and it's a little bit rough in there, and it can be a little bit scary the first time. Down is much more calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no water pressure going down in the lock. It's all outside the gates. So
Right.
When you're going down, you can be anywhere.
Yeah.
And usually canoes or kayaks, they kind of just float. Right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they just hang out.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The first set of locks were all within a couple of kilometers of each other.
We are just about to go under the 401, and then there's a dam ahead of us and another lock. Lock number 2 coming up.
All right, second lock of the day. Ben's behind me this time. It's like just a couple 100-year-old technology, these lock systems. It's fun watching the people looking down at us because, you know, this is kind of a novelty for them seeing the canoes go through, usually some big boats. And yeah, so it's nice to see that and having little chit-chats with people along the way. Everybody's looking for a lovely day today, that's for sure. Seeing people fishing and whatnot. No big boats yet. I guess all the boaters are still asleep because they've got the motors, right?
Have a good day. We are just coming up on Lock 3. Lock 3 is the biggest one we've come across so far. I know there's bigger ones to come, but this one is pretty tall. I think this is the biggest one in the south end of the system. This is a big sucker. I think we're starting to go up already. They've closed the doors and it feels like we're moving already. This one is pretty impressive. It's pretty deep. We're in a chasm. It's kind of cool. The water is rushing in now. Really rushing in. This is strange. We're coming up to construction and there is a barge in the way.
And we're getting close and we're realizing we can't get through. And then all of a sudden half the bridge in the center all of a sudden starts moving towards us and then pulls over to the right. It's a giant barge being pushed by a big boat. So they've got two flaps on each side that fold down. And then when the dump trucks need to go from land from one side of the river to the other, this thing comes between and acts as the bridge between the two, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, so when we pulled up, they moved out of the way, they waved us through, and there's dump trucks waiting, and yeah, and they'll go back in and continue their work. It's a working river, folks. It's an absolutely good working river.
Just over 11 kilometers. We still have a long way to go, so it's coming up on 1 o'clock right now, so it's going to be interesting to see if we can make it to where we want to get to. Hey Sean, how you doing back there?
Busy filling my face back here.
This is the first lock we're going to be sharing with another boat, so we're actually just sitting here waiting for another boat to arrive, and then we'll get going. But last lock for quite a while. We have a good chunk of paddling to do.
Lock time, snack time, homemade beef jerky. Gotta keep fueled up.
Eventually, the big powerboats arrived and we began going up the lock.
We had to wait at that last lock for boats to come. That really delayed us. We were there for how long? Probably about
a half hour or more.
Waiting, I think.
We were waiting at least 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then coming up. So that's put us a little behind. I think what we have to do now is just paddle.
It's about, what, 8K or something like that to the
8K to the next one, yeah.
next one. Let's
So-
get going. We got a long way to go, so.
Child's play.
Well, as we've come further north on the river, it's the scenery's changed quite a bit. We were now paddling in a much more natural environment, although we still had the occasional powerboat go by. We are almost at Glen Ross. That's our second last lock of the day. I think it's just around this corner, thankfully. It is hot, so we just pulled over to the shady bank here just for a second to cool off.
Hey Mike, how you doing?
Staying alive.
Now we're going to make our way around to Glen Ross and then figure out what we're doing from there.
So that's been about 25 kilometers, eh? That's been a good paddle today.
Yeah. So our options, it seems, are
Camp here. Or
stop
camp
here, camp here, drive to Percy Reach in the morning, and if we got there by 9, we could then go through Percy Reach.
There's a headwind picking up.
I know, that's...
And if we're not going to get there, I estimate we wouldn't get there till about 9:10
yeah,
at night.
and we can't paddle in the dark.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing is, there's a little shop with ice cream right across the street.
Why didn't you start with that?
Because I didn't want to make you guys angry at the beginning.
Why, did you guys already have ice cream?
Oh yeah. First thing we did, we got here and say, what are those kids doing? That looks like ice cream.
See, you should have said, okay, we got one option. Here's your ice cream. We're staying here tonight.
Yeah, well that's it.
A lot of variables happened to get us to stay here. It took us a lot longer to get here. It's, what, like 5 o'clock now. So I think it makes sense we'll be here. Unfortunately, we're gonna miss, that's the disappointing part. We're gonna miss some of the cool stuff. There was this great back channel, windy channel, which we were gonna take. And it kind of sucks that on our very first day, we're gonna be skipping, because we're gonna have to skip that little bit to get to the next one in the morning, because we've given ourselves a time schedule, so that's what we got to stick to. So it is what it is. This helped make the decision easy. There's ice cream here, so we're gonna go get ice cream. All right.
All right. Make sure he doesn't bite too much.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, you're a scholar and a gentleman. I don't care what they say.
You got chocolate, you got bubble gum, I've got cherry and bubble gum. After having ice cream, it was time to set up camp. It's a race. Everything is a race.
Let's talk about the day. Day did not turn out like expected. I thought we'd go a bit farther. Bit disappointed we didn't, but on the other hand, no one's to blame. Things just didn't turn out like we thought it would take. We'd get through locks quicker and stuff like that.
Still, it was a great paddle. It's a lot of fun going through those locks. It's some beautiful scenery along the way.
I'm really looking forward to day number 2. We've got my co-host from Paddling Adventures Radio, Derek Specht, is going to come and paddle. He'll be in my canoe tomorrow. and we'll have a good time paddling, that's for sure.
Yeah, we've learned we've learned a lot. We've learned that it's much harder to plan out. It's not just the distance you have to worry about. It's the time it takes to get through things like the logs, the unexpected delays when you have to wait for other boats, that kind of thing. But despite that, it's been a great day, and I'm looking forward to doing more. And right now, I'm gonna turn in for the night, turn off my light, and go to bed.